Hi guys, my name is Effendy and welcome to NUS. I'm sure this journey, this very important journey in your life is already beginning now with all this information that you are receiving. Well, just to go straight into the point, I'm a historian of Southeast Asia. I'm a Singaporean, and I, just like you, if I can remember it, was very excited to enter NUS. When I was in my first year, it was in 2000. I get so much, information from very helpful professors and people. And that basically started my journey to become what I really wanted to be. Even in my first year, I know already what I want to become, a historian of Southeast Asia. And after all those years of studies, I joined the Department of Southeast Asian Studies because it is the best place for me to do what I really want, which is research on the people and cultures from the historical perspective of Southeast Asia. And yes, that's just a short introduction of myself and my work. I think I mentioned a bit of my work in the previous video. If not, here it is. I focus on topics such as martial arts in Southeast Asia, death and dying in Southeast Asia, and among all the modules that I teach in the Department of Southeast Asian Studies is SC 101, about Southeast Asia in the changing region, which is a very good module for any undergraduate who want to understand the basics of the region in many ways. All right, Southeast Asian Studies is multidisciplinary orientation. So we attract a lot of students who have amazing interests about Southeast Asia, from politics, economy, history, culture, to even religion. So if you want to join us, I'm here. I'm all ears to know about your plans about researching in Southeast Asia.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time, Dr. Effendi. I feel I know you much better already.
Okay.
So we will now zoom on to yes, we already have some questions coming up. If you like, I can guide you. The first one is, what are the topics covered in the exposure module, SE 1101E?
Right, I'm going to teach that module next semester. The topics are very much wide-ranging. Like I mentioned just now, it's a multidisciplinary perspective that we are trying to teach students about. Southeast Asia must be seen and understood from various perspectives. And that essence is taught in SE 101. We cover politics, warfare, religion, conflict, identity issues. And among the most favorite lectures that students have always told me when I give the lecture is really about identity right now. Last few semesters, students have always come up with amazing questions and insights about race relations, and even question the basis and understanding of race itself. To give a bit more, race is a colonial construct that must be understood in very critical terms. And this is going to be the subject as well that we are going to understand next semester when you guys take SC 101. I'll give a very passionate lecture on identity and its ramifications on Southeast Asians in the past and even today.
Okay. Next question is this. I'm interested in an international job. Am I limiting my job prospects by pursuing Southeast Asian studies?
Great question. No, Southeast Asian Studies, teaches you to think and process knowledge on many different levels. Basically, this kind of job that you want to do, an international job, will require you to be adaptable, resilient, and more importantly, able to process facts and figures and understandings in a very short amount of time, very quickly. And we teach you these skills in Southeast Asia because Southeast Asia, in essence, is a very fragmented and confusing region. But we'll show you how to make you understand of all these different strands of knowledge and processes and phenomena. By the end of this whole process of becoming, a Southeast Asianist, by the end of third year, fourth year, magic happens. Magic meaning that, we'll give you any sort of material about Southeast Asia, and you can have an amazing discussion on many different levels. Critically, And this is the kind of thing that I'm very proud of my students, the majors, the Southeast Asian Studies majors. They have accomplished that kind of level and understanding, which makes them very hot property. I have students who have gotten jobs internationally, and they are all around now because of the skills in analysis, and more importantly, the command and mastery of one or two Southeast Asian languages. Either you can, I think you can take Thai, Bahasa Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, Vietnamese as well. Okay, and this, according to my HR friends, are very, very important skills that you, or attributes that you bring to the company. So in other words, yes, Southeast Asian Studies enhances, taking Southeast Asian Studies enhances your job profile and attractiveness to be employed by a company.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next question is this. I saw the video of your talk, very interesting, and you mentioned what you focus on, martial arts and all. Can you tell us a bit more on what else we can study and the various topics?
Oh, that we cater to a wide range of student interests. You know, I have my colleague, Professor Irving Johnson, who teaches Balinese dance and Thai art, and another colleague of mine, Dr. Teofilo Tequila. He teaches economy in Southeast Asia, very, very important module and very popular as well. Then we have, you know, Professor E.T. Abraham, who teaches nuclear power in Southeast Asia, also a very intriguing dimension to Southeast Asian studies. It is quite range of topics that you want. Like I said, if you want to study politics, culture, economy, society, and yeah, welcome to the department. We have a lot of experts who are capable on teaching you, showing you the intricacies of these issues.
Mm-hmm. Next question, Dr. Effendy. I saw that there is information on Thai music and gamelan. Would we have some experience as well to participate in this? Are there any module credits given for these?
Yes, the gamelan module is also another important and very important module taught by Professor Jan Razak, our famous Southeast Asian musician. He teaches not only gamelan but wayang as well. You know, module credits, of course, if you sign up for his module, yes. But you know, a better answer would be to email the professor himself, Professor Jan Razak, and he'll give you a very good summary and list of expectations, I guess, for the module. So Jan Razak is the best person to answer this.
Okay. If I were to ask you, why should I want to major in Southeast Asian studies? What would you say?
You'll be well taken care of. I've guided a lot of Southeast Asian majors since first year to the fourth year, and it's quite an amazing experience. Why you should want to be a major? Because we take care of our students intellectually and emotionally. We all understand that the undergraduate journey in NUS is very challenging, but we pay very good attention to our students' development, and we guide them along. How we guide them along is when they engage intellectually in their materials, their modules. That's basic. But once they do their other stuff, such as the independent study modules, even honors thesis, you got to take care of them intellectually and guide them to the process. Because once they go to the field and investigate and internalize all these amazing knowledge, it kind of get confusing, but the guide must be there. So we bring out the best of our students. So once they come to write their honors thesis, it'd be an amazing process because they are ready with all the analytical skills and writing skills. So yes, to become a Southeast Asian major means that you will be taken care of.
Thank you. Next question is this. I see on Luminous that SE 1101E has a lot of written assignments and essays. Should I take it in year one, semester one, if I don't think I'm too ready for it, especially after completing my NS? I guess this is an NS man, yeah.
NS man. Hello, recently ROD person. Yes, do not worry. Like I said, I'll be teaching SE 101 next sem, and the reason why it would seem to be that, there are a lot of recent assignments for SE 101E next semester is because, we shifted the final exam, which we cannot do, all right, to the assignment-based, stuff, all right. But in each assignment, there will be a lot of guidance and time for you to do the writing and research. Okay, so like I said, don't worry. Just email me if at any point of time that you need help at doing these assignments. Okay, myself and the tutors will immediately come to your rescue or help. All right, then, and we'll show you the best way to go about these assignments. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, these are meant to be introductory, introduction to Southeast Asia. So don't worry, we'll help you out in your assignment. So don't worry.
So freshmen out there, rest assured, pursue Southeast Asian studies. You'll get all the support you need, and whether you're a recent A-level graduate or an NS man, you'll be taken care of. Moving right into our next question, I have not taken history during my A-levels. Will I be at a disadvantage considering people who took history at the A-levels learned Southeast Asian Southeast Asian history?
The SC 101 module is not historical per se, but because I'm teaching it, my strategy of teaching Southeast Asia studies is to first understand what happened in the past first. And then as the weeks go on, you come to more topics related to the Southeast Asian present, all right? We cannot understand the region without understanding what goes on in the past first. So do not worry, this is not a history module. This is a multidisciplinary module, but my strategy of teaching it is to teach 1 or 2 weeks of really what Southeast Asia happened to Southeast Asia in the past, which really informs the present. Okay, for example, if you look at Southeast Asia, its politics, its techniques of governance, a lot of it have been derived or influenced by either the British, the French, or the Dutch first. And the secondly is that why do Southeast Asians, think about their identities in a certain way? A lot of it has to be understood in the context of the historical identities that have been formed of Southeast Asians in the past. And then that change or not, that's where the debate is, whether these old identities merge with new ones later on. That is very important. So don't worry, if you do not know anything about the history, we'll give you a bit of information to engage Southeast Asia. But again, this is not a historical module. We do not focus on just on the history of Southeast Asia. We do the present and other stuff as well.
Thank you. Where can we pursue an internship in Southeast Asia?
Where or when?
Where?
Yeah. Oh, I have. Well, I've also been in charge of the internships for my department for students, and the kinds of places that the students have chosen are quite amazing. Some have chosen, of course, the standard business and companies, outside Singapore, such as in Thailand. This cultural exposure they learn in universities or companies in other South Asian countries is very, very amazing, because culture does inform a lot of business practices in Southeast Asia. Then other groups of students, they focus on Singapore, and I have one student who became an intern for a funeral home. Why? Because she thinks that this is the hottest new industry that young people are going to go in, and she's right. It's quite amazing, and that how much these employees are paid in a funeral home. I won't tell you. Come join Southeast Asia Studies. We'll tell you. All right, but it's a burgeoning new industry, which I told my students, if you want to become an intern somewhere, make sure that you learn at the same time about Southeast Asia. So these are all the various places, internships that you can pursue. All right.
Okay, there you have it. All support from our faculty as well as job prospects and future potential. So the next question, I read that to have Southeast Asia studies as a second major, I'll need to complete 12 MCs in the Southeast Asia languages. Can I split the 12 MCs between different languages, or must they be on one language only?
Okay, I cannot answer this question well. You need to refer to the department, all right, guidelines and the personnel, the general department of South Asian Studies. But what I do know is that, taking South Asian languages make you a much better Southeast Asianist, because when you understand language, you definitely must understand the culture and the history and the politics behind that cultural community that uses this language. So that's all I can say for now. Perhaps you can direct this query of yours to other people in the department, especially the general office, would be better.
Okay. Just a quick plug for the general office email address. So if you have any specific questions, freshmen, please take note. The email is FASSBOX, FASBOX 59 at nus.edu.sg. So if you have any queries which are very specific and targeted, do reach out to our colleagues in the general office. Dr. Effendy, next question for you. What are the job prospects of a Southeast Asian Studies major?
Perfect question. I have students who have been actually headhunted by companies and institutions in Singapore. One of my honor students whom I have mentored, just got a job with MINDEF. Very high paying job. My God, I should, quit MINDEF. I will see how. And then another student have found amazing opportunities. Not students, students have found that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is there's a great place to work as a Southeast Asian major, but those are in Singapore. Outside Singapore, there are other stuff as well. Artists, creators of knowledge, they've joined big companies, so there are a lot of job prospects for you guys. Because again, like I mentioned to the other query, taking South Asian studies allows you to be very versatile and very adaptable. Plus, if you take a South Asian language, it can only boost up your attractiveness to companies. Okay, so job prospects, not to worry. There are a lot of demand for the expertise of a South Asian studies major.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, do we need to have a language background to major in Southeast Asian studies?
Not really. But what I observe of students who have this Southeast Asian language background is that they kind of do much better and they have way more fun with taking a language, because all sorts of funding go to them if they want to pursue South Asian language studies, overseas in Indonesia or Thailand. There's a lot of funding that goes on, and they kill two birds with one stone, because that overseas experience allows them to internalize or understand that culture, and you learn the language at the same time. So these are great material for students when they eventually do their ISM, independent study modules, or honor theses of other research, you see. So so if you want me to have direct answer to this, much better to have. But again, it's up to you really. There are many other languages that you can choose from, rather non-Southeast Asian languages, right? There are some that I cannot speak of. I don't know much about them, but there are others, of course. But my students have tremendously benefited from taking South Asian languages. So that's where I would engage this question a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next question is this. I heard that it's easier to understand Southeast Asian studies if I have had social studies classes in Singapore during primary and secondary school. Is this true?
Yes and no. What does social studies teach? Because I come from the 80s, when social studies means what? Racial harmony studies, is it? I mean, I'm not too sure. Study of society.
I'm from the same generation.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay. I assume that it is about society in Singapore, how cultural communities engage and interact. I would assume that this is what social studies classes are in Singapore. Yeah, but but you got to understand that these social studies classes only engage stuff at the very basic level, and once you are learning Southeast Asia from in the various modules in the department, is deeper and much more critical, you see. But that's what I have to say. Again, I don't know what social studies is about, but again, these modules in South Asian studies offer basics as well to understand Southeast Asia from. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. Next question. There seems to be two minors available, and I would want to know the difference. Between, wow, it's moving pretty fast. Okay, sorry, let me repeat. There seems to be two minors available, and would want to know the difference between both, actually minor in Southeast Asian studies and minor in Asian studies.
I'm not too familiar with the new module with minor in South Asian studies, but now I'm going to give a lecture on identity and ethnicity for that minor in Asian studies. Okay. Now, what I understand so far is that Asian studies encompasses, a whole slew of other Asian subjects, which includes Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia, China, Japan, so on and so forth. South Asian studies, if you what you call minor in South Asian studies, I'm not too familiar with that, but this is what I know so far. I can't answer this question well, except both are very good and both give you an informed perspective to Asia and Southeast Asia. If you want to take this both, by all means, go ahead. It gives you a very good content base to work from to understand Asia and Southeast Asia.
So again, let me just repeat the FASS box 59 at nus.edu.sg in case you have any very specific curricular questions. So Dr. Effendy, on now to the next question. If you can scroll up. For each of the module descriptions, there seems to be a bit of similarity of certain areas covered. Or is each module a whole new area which we'll be understudying? For example, culture in Southeast Asia.
Don't understand the question. Are you talking about each specific module?
So I presume this freshman is asking that there seems to be some overlaps across various module descriptions. So, I guess the person is trying to understand, is each module very different and has given this example, culture in Southeast Asia?
Well, let me say this: each professor in our department, teaches from his or her own perspective to South Asian studies, and each module is different from each other, but overlaps are quite inevitable, yeah, right? Because it's the nature of the subject. But again, the orientation and understanding of the professor to Southeast Asia is different. He may teach it in a different way. The political scientist, for example, teaches Southeast Asia in a very different way compared to an anthropologist. All right. So is the historian's perspective to Southeast Asia, and even an economist and religious studies person. A very different perspective to the region. Even though the subject matter may have some overlap, but rest assured, each module is not similar to each other. How it is taught and understood is very different. Let me put it that way. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. The next question is the semester in Southeast Asia exchange program compulsory, or can I participate in exchange programs in other countries?
Compulsory, I'm not too sure whether it's made compulsory or not yet, right? But again, there are advantages that I've observed of students who take the semester in Southeast Asia exchange program. They have benefited a lot in terms of their cultural exposure. Once they come back to Singapore, they kind of write better, understand better, think better as well. Why? Because these exposures give them space to reflect and think about the subject matter a bit deeply. And the next, I can participate exchange program in other countries. Why not? You can do that, of course. But again, I address the Southeast Asian aspect here better. So if you want to do the semester in Southeast Asia, fine. It is a very, very beneficial to do so.
Thank you. Next question is this: what types of topics are covered in the exposure module?
Like I mentioned, we covered the introduction to Southeast Asia. It has to be understood in various multidisciplinary perspectives. Politics of Southeast Asia, ethnicity, warfare, identity, a lot of other topics, of course. These are multi perspectives, very different perspective to looking at the region, to give you a basics of understanding a very complex and diverse region.
Thank you. Next question is this. So I think the freshmen are really interested in your exposure module.
Oh my God.
Next question. Okay. How much of the course load is about the Malay archipelago?
I have to give fair treatment. You're talking about SC101 still. I use the example of the Malay archipelago in very different ways. You see, in the pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial context, yeah, how much the cost load is going to be on Malay Peninsula. I try to give even distribution of attention to all the various areas in Southeast Asia, not just the Malay archipelago, that is a very important area, but also in the various cultural spheres. I'm talking about the Sumatran areas, which is a cultural sphere to me. Then, of course, the Javanese areas, which centers around Java. Then, of course, you go up to the mainland, you cover Cambodia, Cambodian cultural spheres, and the Vietnamese spheres, and of course the Burmese spheres. So all these have to be given fair attention. In other words, I try to make students understand the region as much as possible within 30 weeks. Not easy to do, but we all try that, of course. So how much the course is about Malay Archipelago? Not everything is about Malay Archipelago. We try to have an even distribution of these various spaces and areas in Southeast Asia.
Okay, exciting times. Next question, is Southeast Asian Studies useful as a minor?
How to answer this question? Well, Southeast Asian Studies is useful to you as a minor and a major. Like I said just now, students get great jobs very quickly, don't have to sit down very long. They headhunt you for your skills and attributes. So yeah, Southeast Studies is useful as a minor and a major. Let me put it that way. How about that? I can answer this question. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Hang on. The next question is, what are the study abroad opportunities that Southeast Asian Studies Department offers?
Well, what I do know is that students, as part of their study abroad, they do study in Thailand and of course in Indonesia as well. We had of course the Vietnamese exposures as well, but we'll see how that happens. So these are the few study abroad opportunities that the department offers. Yeah, with funding. Yeah, so but it depends on where you want to go for your research. Really, what do you want to do? So I guess this has to be answered a bit better. Maybe you can drop the department an email. Yeah, especially the general department, and see what they say about this. There is a lot of funding for this study abroad.
Okay, wonderful. So for those of you who have just joined us, you can write to FASS Box 59 at nus.edu.sg for very targeted, specific curricular-related questions. Do we have any other questions? What have we covered?
There's only 3 questions that I have here.
Okay, yeah. We have covered all the questions for the moment. Okay, so Dr. Effendy, how about sharing with our freshmen, any words of wisdom from the Southeast Asian perspective? What's the final pearls of wisdom you can share with our group here?
Well, like I say in the very first, moments of this interview, welcome to NUS. I can still remember the very first day that I stepped into NUS, very happy, very glad, just like the recently ORD person, I can't wait to go into university studies and give my best. And like I say, this if you choose the Southeast Asian Studies path, it's going to be an amazing journey. Why? Because what I observe so far of my students, not only they have found new knowledge, but also at the same time found themselves while doing it. What I mean by this is that they suddenly realize all the amazing talents and skills that they do not know that they had, but until they were guided by us, mentored by us, and took our various modules, they found that special X factor that determines basically how they are going to be successful in the next next years in the futures in their future of their lives. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Effendy, for sort of brightening up the session with your presence as well as your attire. I'm sure all our freshmen are very inspired, by your session. Thank you so much again. So we are coming close to 4:30 and going to be moving on to the next session. In the meanwhile, for the freshmen who are here and heard Dr. Effendy, do contact our FASS Dean's office at this telephone number 6516-6133 or email fasshelp@nus.edu.sg. If you have specific questions related to Southeast Asian studies, do not hesitate to email fassbox59, FASBOX59 at nus.edu.sg. Thank you so much for being in this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Effendy, for your time, your wisdom, and your experience. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yes. So, yeah. So see you soon, everybody. Bye.